And welcome into Talk Illini here, a part of the Orange and Blue News with the On3 Network, as we are talking Illinois getting the win over Oregon on senior night, 80-54. AJ Red does get to score on senior night. Very welcome sight to see that. He was a little excited there when he first got it. And he brought the ball up the court, and Brad Underwood was not happy with the deep three that he took as soon as he brought it down the floor. But you know what? He just wanted to score. He's trying to get out there. And credit to Mihailo Petrovic to get the assist there to AJ Red on his 3-pointer. He was very excited after that. And then, of course, he drives and scores on just the next possession. So very excited for AJ Red. Want to start off the episode by congratulating him. 5 points in this game for AJ Red, and just played a few minutes. And then Mihailo Petrovic with his ability there to recognize that AJ Red needed to get the score and to set him up for that well with the nice little between the legs pass there to put him in a good situation. All right, so let's talk about this game. Please do like, subscribe. Let me say it this way. If you like that AJ Red scored, hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel. How about that? All right, we're making it happen here on Talk Illini. Now, listen, this was a game that Illinois had no business not being, a 20-point win at the very least. Now, they almost win by 30 points in this game, but this was a game that after, probably about the 5-minute mark, Illinois was up, and they were up before that. They went on a 19 to nothing run there from about the I believe it was the 16-minute mark to about the 5-minute mark left in the half there. So from that point on, it was really just kind of easy coasting going through, and that's kind of going to be the main part of this game that we talk about, because I would think that's really where we saw the most that we can kind of learn from with this team. And for games like this, it's hard to really take a whole lot away and learn from. Look, no disrespect to Oregon. I think Dana Altman's a good coach. They were talking about on the broadcast, he's won 20 plus games for 28 years straight before this season. Dana Altman's a really good coach. It's just not been their year. They don't have the players. They don't have the composure. They got Jackson Shellstad, who probably going to be in the portal next season. I mean, you don't not play at all this season and then, just stick around with your team and everything. Credit to Nate Biddle. He's playing this year, but we'll see what happens there. So, but overall, this Oregon team is not a very good basketball team. They have some ability down low to rebound. Sean Stewart from Ohio State last year, who was their best rebounder, is on this team, but he's just awful at and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody here, but he's awful at free throws, and he can foul a whole lot in those situations as well. So it's not like he's a good rebounder, but Nate Biddle is really the prized possession of this team here, and Nate Biddle was focused on by Illinois, and Illinois actually went after him quite a bit with David Mirkovic, which I thought was a good decision here by Brad Underwood to put one of his most physical, probably his most physical defender down against Nate Biddle, who does hover around the 3-point arc, but we did see Nate Biddle get paired up with Ben Hummerkaus down low at one point in time. That was what ended the 19 straight run that Illinois had. And, once he got Ben Hummerkaus down low, and it's nothing against Ben, it's not that he's not physical or anything like that. He had a good senior night as well in this one. Kylan Boswell was another senior in this one. I should have mentioned those guys early on, but that's just not a good matchup for Ben Hummerkaus. Credit to David Mirkovic. He was doing a really good job getting physical with Nate Biddle, doing a good job boxing him out. For a good amount of this game, you saw some really good defense by David Mirkovic on Nate Biddle. Now, a lot of people are going to look at this game after the fact and bring up a bunch of numbers, 10 for 36 from three. Andrej Stojaković, 21 points, leading scorer. David Mirkovic, 19 points. Keaton Wagler had 11 points. Nobody else was in double digits for this game outside of that. And you're probably going to get some people who are a little dissatisfied with stuff. David Mirkovic does foul out. It was kind of a ticky-tack foul there at the end of the game that he fouled out on, which was it is what it is. But overall, I don't think looking at this game from the final numbers perspective is really the best way to do it. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on, but I think you have to look at it really from that 19-0 run and how the team kind of responded from that to really kind of gauge where did you see this team improve and what can you look at moving forward, because in these type of games, it's really hard to take all that much away from a nearly 30-point blowout against one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. But I do think there are some things we can take away. So let's go ahead and here, if you're watching on YouTube with me, I'm going to bring up the play-by-play here in the first period, and this is going to be the Illinois only, and it's only going to be the made field goals for them. So I want you to see from when it was 9-5, that very first layup, David Mirkovic gets the layup, goes 9-5. Then Keaton Wagler gets the next layup and one, hits the free throw, 9-8, and then from there on until it was 9-24. Until Nate Biddle scored there on a back down. It was about the 14-minute mark. I apologize. About the 14-minute mark to about the 9-minute mark that you saw them go on that big long run there. So anyway, as far as I'm concerned, this was a really good situation for Illinois to kind of learn from and see where they can kind of continue to improve and see what works for them. Obviously, Brad Underwood knows this team is at their best when they're not just chucking up threes. When you're actually getting to the basket, getting out on the fast break and doing some of these things, it opens up everything for you more in these situations. Illinois was doing a really good job of getting to the basket. A lot of it was Andrej Stojaković, but you also saw Zvonimir Ivisic in there getting some lobs, going to the basket, doing a good job. He had an and one at one point as well here in this big long run that the team had. So you had some really nice stuff happen here for Illinois, but it also kind of happened in a way that maybe not everybody expected. This is really where you saw Andrej Stojaković kind of go off a little bit more and kind of do his own thing. And as much as there is, some rumors around Andrej Stojaković right now, and some people speculating that body language and all this stuff. Is he going to be with the team next year? And who knows? I mean, we'll see what comes of that later on. But at least for now, he is a guy that is still playing hard in this game against Oregon. Now, there are going to be some that speculate, well, he's playing hard to get his points and everything else. I'm going to be honest. I don't think that's necessarily the worst thing in the world. Now, is it the worst thing in the world when he gets too much tunnel vision and he doesn't pass out of stuff? Yeah, but you also saw him get into the lane, pass out to Jake Davis. Jake Davis had a wide open three, nailed it, and you're like, okay, well, this is exactly what you want to see. You want to see Andrej Stojaković get downhill on the fast break, get to the basket, get fouled. He was making good plays, being able to get down there. And then when he does get stopped into the lane, if he is able to, push the ball out, get it to Jake Davis, get it to Ben Hummerkaus or somebody else like that, and let them hit their threes. And that's really what you saw. If you look over here, the blue are the 2-point field goals and the free throws. The orange are the 3-point field goals. It is no coincidence that you had a whole bunch of 2-pointers and a whole bunch of free throws, and then you had 6 straight 3-point field goals made after that, because you saw the defense of Oregon change after that timeout. They went into drop coverage, which is just a terrible decision against Keaton Wagler. And Keaton Wagler was somebody that, he was getting to the basket a little bit, but he wasn't the main culprit that was getting there against them, but he did get to the basket one time through the lob to Zvonimir Ivisic, and that just kind of continues to help things open up and work through. I mean, I don't need to explain basketball to you. You know how basketball works. You're smart. You've watched tons of basketball, but you get what I'm saying, though, right? Like this is an area of this Illinois team that I honestly don't think it would be the worst thing in the world if we see Andre kind of go out there and just try to get downhill more and score. He still kind of shot the three a little bit too much for my liking in this game. I think overall he was 1 for 4 from 3 in this one. Let me double check here. No, 0 for 2. Sorry. Who was 1 for 4 that I... Oh, 1 for 3 was Kylan Boswell. Okay. Sorry about that. Oh, 1 for 5. That's who I was thinking of. Jake Davis was 1 for 5. Tomislav Ivisic was 0 for 4. Overall, this team was 10 of 36 from 3, less than 30%. There's going to be people that look at this and say, oh, this team still chucks up too many threes and everything else. And while that's true, you don't want to go 10 for 36 from 3. It was also kind of the team in cruise control there in the second half. It just felt like every time you're going down the floor, shoot up the 3, put up the 3. It is what it is. And I mean, you don't want to see your team on cruise control, but it was also kind of like you were just waiting to get to that 4-minute mark so that way Brad Underwood could call the timeout, get AJ Redd in there. And that's exactly what they did. They called the timeout, got AJ Redd in there. Now like I said, he shot the 3 later on there that was a choice decision. But overall, I think a lot of people are going to look at this game and say, oh, too many 3 balls taken and everything else. But I think if you really analyze when the game started getting out of hand against it, you really saw what makes Illinois be at their best. You saw them getting to the basket, working, to get to the free throw line as well. And then you saw from that them be able to work to the outside, the drive by Andrej Stojaković that he kicks out to Jake Davis, the drop coverage that Oregon was trying to institute against Keaton Wagler. So that way the defender, I forget who was guarding Keaton at that time, but he has to go over the top and gives Keaton the wide open three there. And Illinois do a pretty good job of setting picks and stuff like that as well. I also thought it was interesting that they went to David Mirkovic to go up against Nate Biddle for a good amount of this game, pretty much all of the game when he was in there, and Biddle was in there as well. And I like that. I like them going to him, putting him on the bigger, the more physical player there. And we'll see if this can continue on. But the problem you get into is against the teams like Michigan, against some of the teams with more physical guys down low. It's not just one guy who can beat you for rebounds and be physical against you, but it's multiple different guys, right? And that's what Michigan has. So this Illinois team, they're going to need to continue to be physical. They're going to need to continue to battle down low. Tomislav Visic can't go 0 for 4 from 3. I'm not saying anything new here to you, but we'll see if they can continue to move forward, continue to move on. I think Zvonimir did a good job in this game, put together, I think it was 8 points for him, and he was able to get to the basket, take some lobs and stuff like that as well. So we'll see what it looks like moving forward. Overall, Illinois, they were kind of losing. I think they had lost 4 of their last 6 there. So they get a nice, encouraging win here against Oregon. And really, if you're an Illinois fan, that's what you wanted to see to get some more confidence up for the team. It's a quad 3 win for Illinois. I mean, at this point, you're so far deep into the season. You got a quad 3 game left at Maryland. So that's not really going to do much for you if you win. When you win that game, you should definitely win that game there against Maryland. They're coming into their own a little bit more, but still not a good basketball team. So you're not really going to see a whole lot of seed changes here. Looks like Illinois still is on the 2 line. So as long as they don't, lose their very first game in the Big Ten tournament and somebody does something spectacular, this Illinois team should be a 2 seed going into the tournament, maybe a 3 seed. We'll see, but this Illinois team should be able to be a 2 seed, and looks like it'll be a good situation for them going into the tournament. So we'll have more information and everything for you as we lead into tournament time. Should be a whole lot of fun to see this Illinois team play in the tournament, as long as they can continue to get downhill, get to the basket. And who knows, maybe Andrej Stojaković looking for his shot a little bit more right now, trying to score more. Who knows? Maybe that's what this team needs. We'll see where it goes from here. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on the way the team played, takeaways from the game, anything and everything else out there? Appreciate you being here. Have a good one.